Speech time. Even with 50% of the population consisting of women, it's crazy to think about how many policies there are relating to women's health care. And so in 1973, the court case Roe v. Wade guaranteed women to have the right to abortions and any birth controls. But of 2022, Roe v. Wade was actually overturned, and many states in the US have different policies now relating to abortions. And so me, as a woman that lives in California, I do have geographical freedoms in terms of my reproductive freedoms. In California, there are a lot of policies and laws regarding to my freedoms and protecting those rights. But some states in the US, most of them being right-leaning, they don't have as many laws or policies protecting them. Actually, they hurt them in some type of way. And so today I will inform you about California's proclamation of reproductive freedoms and in comparisons to different states in the US, but also I'll be doing a brief history on some of the controversies about women's reproductive health and steps in a different direction and steps that communities have taken to support more of these ideas. So the idea of women's reproductive support in the US wasn't really present until the 60s. So of course there are a lot of controversies on this idea as more and more options grew. The idea of talking about sex in public was more open during this time. And so the birth control pill was mostly introduced during the 60s and became an accessible option to women. There's a court case called Griswold versus Connecticut, and it was taken in 1965, and this declared the rights to contraceptives. And so leading into the 70s, that's when Roe v. Wade was introduced and guaranteed the rights to abortions. As the Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, many of the states in the US have differing opinions about the rights to abortions. For example, California being one of the more left-leaning states, everyone wants to go here because of the accessible options to abortions and birth controls. California has actually gotten much recognition from different institutes regarding to these strong protections. And so from the California's executive department, the calling towards an accessible reproductive health has led to the implementation of different policies. For example, in 2002, California enacted the Reproductive Privacy Act, and then right after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, Gavin Newsom, our governor, he constituted a proclamation that guaranteed our rights to birth controls, abortions, and way more sex and reproductive services. Other states in the US, however, do not have this luxury. These rights, for example, have great impacts on women of all ages, and since the overturning, depending on the state you're in, you're either super lucky or super unfortunate. In the US, for example, Florida is one of the states that has enforced abortion bans throughout the state. This is all from Planned Parenthood, the organization's website. They have enforced many abortion bans, and they also made it mandatory for pregnant people that are seeking abortions to undergo like crazy precautions and crazy limitations. Another example of a state that has limitations is going to be Mississippi. Mississippi actually has made it illegal to have an abortion, and so any person trying to get an abortion, it becomes this big legal case in their state. And so today, as I inform you about the legislation of women's health care throughout the US, I discuss the history of the access, California's laws, and 2 other states' laws regarding the same topic. And so understanding these laws and policies in different states across the nation can affect whether you stay in one place or you stay in a different state. Differences in our nation regarding to a great portion of our population create many disagreements nationwide.